April 11th, 2023 in Virginia, Minnesota at a cost of $20 each. Item 5.5B, approve Pamela Bean, our city clerk, to attend the MCFOA Annual Conference, March 21st through the 24th, 2023 in St. Cloud, Minnesota at a cost of $1,005.78. Item 5.5C, approve Library Director Jody Grebanowski to attend the Minnesota Library Legislative Day, February 27th and 28th, 2023 in St. Paul at a cost of $252.83. Item 5.5D, Fire Department, approve Luke Grukel to attend the Firefighter 2 Skills February 24th through the 26th, 2023 in Granite Falls, Minnesota at a cost of $882.77. 5.5E, approve Dustin Erickson from the Fire Department to attend the International Firefighter Cancer Symposium, February 22nd through what? 26th in Miami, Florida? Actually, the 26th in 2023, Miami, Florida at a cost of $1,850. Item 5.5F, approve Dana Morgan to attend the Honor Guard Clinic March 24th through the 26th, 2023 in Little Falls, Minnesota at a cost of $75. Item 5.5G, approve our Fire Marshal Jacob Keel to attend the Fire Code Inspection Seminar April 17th through the 19th, 2023 in Little Falls, Minnesota at a cost of $326. Item 5.5H, the Police Department, approve Assistant Chief Chad Nicola to attend the NADPCP Conference June 25th through the 29th in Houston, Texas at a cost of $345. Item 5.5I, approve Noah Burr, officer, to attend the Safe and Sober Safety Test and the A-RIDE Instructor School March 5th through the 9th, 2023 in Maple Grove at a cost of $285. In 5.5J, Park and Rec Department, Steve Gobatz and J.J. Spoler to attend the Emerald Ash Borer Workshop March 21st, 2023 in Two Harbors at no cost. Item 5.5K, approve Andrew Judnick to attend the CNC Recertification Workshop March 16th through the 17th, 2023 in Maple Grove at a cost of $587.69. This is a consent agenda before the council today and look for council action.
I'll move the consent agenda except for I'd like to discuss a little bit further the Andrew Judnick travel.
Very good. Councilor Freely moves to approve the consent agenda and to pull out item 5.5K for discussion. Is there support for the motion for that? Councilor Barnzelli. Moved and supported. All those in favor for the exception of 5.5K signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So item 5.5K, Andrew Judd to attend the recertification workshop in Maple Grove at a cost of $587.69. Councilor Freely.
And my only question is, looking at the schedule for the state workshops, 2 weeks later, that same workshop is being held at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center in Virginia. I guess I'm assuming maybe Andrew's on vacation that week or something. There must be a reason for which he wanted to go to Maple Grove as opposed to attend it at the Iron Trail Motors.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Freely.
And I do know that we budget accordingly for all professional development, so it's not like it's.
I think you make a good point. Our Park and Rec Director, Brian Silber, can you answer that for us?
Yes, Andrew had a previously scheduled vacation during that one that he was here in town. There's another one in Cloquet in the fall, but he also has a vacation scheduled at that time. So the two that were closest to us, he has vacations already scheduled. This was the next most realistic one to attend.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Counselor Freely. Counselor Beyondich.
Thank you. And I just wanted, for the public, we do look at these at our committee of the whole, and usually I ask Britt to clarify that these are all budgeted items as we look at them. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And so, looking for a motion to approve item 5.5K Andrew Jugget to attend the CNC recertification workshop in Maple Grove at a cost of $587.69, March 16th and 17th. Moved by Counselor Freely, supported by
Support.
Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, appearances. There is no one scheduled to be before the council today. Once again, this is an opportunity for anybody in the audience like to come and address the council. You're welcome to do so at this time. Seeing none, we'll move to item 7, unfinished business. Ma'am? Did you, please, if you would come forward, please, and would you please press the button to green? The button to green, so the mic is on. Please state your name for the record, and welcome to the city council meeting.
Loretta Bickford. That was B as in bubble. Is this, do you have to, is this like the commissioner meetings where you have to like be placed on the agenda?
Well, normally under appearances, it's usually scheduled. You can speak at the public forum, but we certainly invite you to speak at this time. We're not going to require you to be scheduled at another meeting, so you're welcome to speak now if you like.
If I can bring up my question.
You sure can.
I had a situation that required me to, well, call the police to ask if they knew what to do. I had a dog that was being, not mine, a neighborhood dog that was being sort of aggressive to people. Okay, first of all, I am a landlord of a couple of the buildings in town. And whatever. I had a dog that was being a little bit aggressive, and so I just, because I didn't know what the rules were for the city or whatever, I was trying to write up, it was one of my tenants, and I was trying to write up something that told them, you know, dog's being aggressive. You need to deal with it. I've asked you to keep that dog on the leash several times. This will be your third warning. But I didn't know, I was hoping to put in the city's rules in this letter so I could have the city hopefully back me. And here, come to find out, I was like, oh my gosh. So I called the police station, and I'm not going to say, we couldn't decide what the real, what. We didn't know what the rules were, whatever. And this is not against the police station at all. But in looking, and I just wanted to bring this up and just ask if this is really what it is. In looking, you know, on the internet and trying to bring up the rules and the leash laws and all that for the Virginia of Minnesota, it's very, very not clear-cut at all. But the real part that really concerned me was the one bite rule that Virginia has. Any dog is allowed a bite rule, a one bite. And that was my issue. This dog has already grabbed several people, and so when I called the police, I was like, does that mean we can't do anything about this unless this dog actually bites, draws blood? I mean, this isn't safe for the city, let alone me. This is not safe for the city. But as a landlord, I was like, and the officer didn't know how to even answer that. He's like, I don't know. That's what they say. That's what it says. And so I'm like, okay, I am here asking for the police officers. Let me just step to the police officers for their safety in this town. Is that really what Virginia's law is one bite rule? I mean, the dog is allowed to stay in the home and not, of course, maybe it's written like this. Is this today's agenda?
It is.
It is. May I?
You're welcome to grab one.
Wow, we're going to be here a long time. Maybe you guys have it written like this, but when we look it up, it's one sentence, one bite rule, meaning they get to be free. So it doesn't say that I can even require vaccination records. Can we look at that? I'm going to shut up now, but can we look at that?
Well, maybe I can give you an answer. Okay? There is a state statute in the state of Minnesota that addresses dangerous dogs, aggressive dogs, and unleashed dogs, and in case of injury. But the city of Virginia, I think it's under ordinance 10, I can't remember the subsection of it. 10.11, and it does indicate that there is not a one-bite rule. There is a dangerous dog statute if the dog is aggressive. If the dog it does bite, there's an automatic quarantine up to so many days for that dog. And then any second incident would require, under the dangerous dog statute, and lists all the options that the police department has and the action that they can take to protect citizens of the community with respect to the dangerous dogs. So there is no one-bite rule. There's a clear-cut ordinance that's assigned to that, and we would certainly provide you a copy of that, and we'll forward your issue and your concern onto the police department, and because the police officer responded to talk to you, there would be a report on file, so we'll be able to determine what action was taken and the circumstances surrounding the issue that you're addressing today.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
No, not at all.
Please don't yell at anybody,
Oh.
because he didn't know the answer, you know. But when I looked it up, like I said, when I looked it up on the internet, it was, you know, just one sentence. No, but again, maybe
Well, we have an ordinance in place that explains all beyond what you found on the internet, yes.
that would be good, because I was like, oh lordy, this is like dangerous to everybody if that's really what it is.
And so if the dog is off a leash, we contract with the Mesaba Humane Society. They bring the truck out and they'll search for the dog and pick up the dog and put the dog in prison until somebody comes in and claims it, you know. So we do take action with respect to that. I'm not sure what information that we received from the police officer, but certainly we'll look into that. I'll take a look at the report and have the chief give you a call. And your name would be on that report. We have your name on file here with our city clerk, so we'll make sure you get a copy of that.
That would be, and again, it wasn't even necessarily for me, but more for everybody's safety. I was like,
Yeah.
so I'm sorry if I overstepped. If I was,
No, not at all. Thank you for coming forward. Thank you for your concern.
yeah, I was just like, oh, that's just dangerous, but okay, I'll shut up now, thank you.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you so much. Pam?
Thank you, Mayor. Ma'am, did you happen to look at the ordinances on our website under our city code, or did you just happen to Google Virginia? Okay, so there is a whole ordinance on the website. If you'd like to look at that, otherwise I can get it to you tomorrow. Okay. Yep, and there is a whole statute or ordinance for us regarding dangerous dogs and pets and not being on leashes and, yeah, domestic animals.
There's
So
an
it's
ordinance.
quite a bit.
Yeah, there's an ordinance and a state statute with respect to dangerous dog and quarantine requirements and all those kind of things. So we have a seated ordinance, and part of that ordinance, we follow the state statute as well. See, please.
I don't even know. And again, if I'm stepping out of place, tell me to shut up and go sit down.
No, please address your concern. That's why you're here.
As a landlord, I just went through a large situation that went down in town here. But anyways, part of my, I went to the planning and zoning. Is that the ones that required the 3 strikes, you're out type of a?
Well, they drafted the written code ordinance, which we're considering right now.
And I started to utilize that, hoping I could help, you know, the city, just the people start getting used to it. So I started utilizing that. And the case that I'm on right now, I don't even know where to ask. I am asking for the city, or I don't know who to ask, to stand behind that. Maybe, I mean, can you, if I need in the future help with that 3 strikes, you're out, trying to, and maybe I was wrong for trying to implement it early, but I was just, again, just trying to get, you know, the little ball rolling, whatever, to make it easier for everybody. If some of us get it, start hearing it, maybe it'll, when it finally does come down to being implemented, it might just happen easier. There's just a whole lot of issues on this. Just a whole lot of issues have come up, and I don't even know where to begin my concerns.
So may I ask of you, may we all ask of you, so do you have a lease with your tenant? Okay, in my previous profession, we made recommendations and when you have tenants that are creating some issues, included in their lease agreement that they sign are certain rules that they have to follow. And in I'll give you the one example where in one of the leases, if the police officer came to your building, you're the resident 3 times or 2 times, or depending upon what was, and there was an issue regarding a crime that was committed or a concern that you have, it was a safety issue, that under the course of the lease, you have the right to evict based upon, the civil process. So you have that in place. The 3-strike rule for a rental code ordinance is the fact that if the landlord doesn't take any action and there's nothing in the lease and the police department has to respond, and then they can take criminal action. So you have civil opportunities, and we have the criminal one with respect to the enforcement of the code based on the safety and security of the neighborhood. So there's a civil and there's a criminal aspect of it. Certainly, and I would urge you to, if you have an issue, to go visit our police department and talk to the receptionist down there and speak to one of the investigators or the assistant chief or the chief. They'll be, or a regular officer, and they'll be more than happy to provide you some guidance and some options. You're very welcome.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we'll move to item 7, unfinished business. Item 7.1, the property at 410 5th Street South, and I believe our city attorney has an update for us about the hearing as we're moving forward. So we'll turn this over to our city attorney. Thank you.
Yes, the update is just that we will be scheduling the evidentiary hearing on the underlying counseling order soon. I don't believe we have a date yet, but we will be scheduling.
So we're going to be scheduling an evidentiary hearing
Correct.
and before the court, which is unfortunately part of that process. And so the court will determine what day that is.
Correct.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns about that on 410 5th Street South? We have been very patient and frustrated by the court system, but it's getting there. So thank you for that update. Okay, well, I'll move to item 7.2, the clinic lease. I did get some information from our city administrator that they're still talking about the bids and all the repairs that have to be done, and ongoing conversations with Essentia Health regarding the lease and the potential purchase and the sale of that as well. So does anybody have any questions about the clinic lease as we move forward? Okay, 7.3, the rental code ordinance. That's under unfinished business. And I know that we had that rental code ordinance meeting where the planning and zoning presented their draft copy, and we had some significant discussion about that. So that is on our unfinished business, which is asked to do so. We still have more work to do about for final approval, and I think we're going to have some upcoming meetings either through the committee of the whole or some other mechanism in which to fine tune this ordinance prior to implementation. But does any counselor have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the rental code ordinance? Okay, we'll move to item 7.4, and this is approve the second reading of the ordinance amending Chapter 6, Section 6.42, Subdivision A of the City Code of the Virginia, entitled Lodging Tax.
We'll move the second reading of the amended ordinance, which now includes short-term rentals.
Yes, thank you. Councilor Johnson moves to approve. Is there support? Support by Councilor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. And on item 8, discussion items, 8.1, we have our Park and Rec Director here, patiently awaiting his dinner reservations for Valentine's Day, so thank you for sticking around. And this is to approve the letter of support for the Virginia Market Square Farmers Market. Brian, you have some more additional information about applying for a grant?
Yes, the farmers market, as many of you may remember, used to be downtown at City Center Park. Here a few years ago, they moved to the Klein Cupoletti building on Silver Lake. Since that time, they've seen the market grow from about 10 vendors to around 35 vendors a week, and many more people come to the market, so it has been a good move. As part of that move, they have added, or they have continued and grown the activity of having live music at the farmers market. One of the things that they did this past year was they secured donations for the benches that were added outside of the Klein Cupoletti building. They've also been working with our Park and Rec Commission to see a performance stage be built at the Klein Cupoletti building. Where we are looking at building that is on the south side of the building, and then we would be moving the storage shed that's there a little bit, and then moving all those benches under the trees there on the south side of the building. Now, they are desiring to raise all the funds and do everything that is needed for this project, and part of the raising of those funds is they're applying for some grants. And they've asked me if I would be willing to write a letter of support for this. But in order for me to write a letter of support in an official capacity for the city, I need your blessing to do so. So on page 98 of your packet, you see a draft of the letter that I would be proposing that we submit to the Virginia Market Square for their grant application.
Thank you, Brian. Counselor Motley?
I'd move to make the motion to move that forward.
Okay, Counselor Motley moves to approve the letter of support from our Park and Rec Commission, Park and Rec Director, supported by?
I'll support for discussion.
Okay, we have two, okay, I was looking over here, so Counselor Beyondich supports for further discussion. Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. Brian, so when you describe kind of where this staging area would be, is it impeding anything from the window standpoint at the Klein Cupoletti building looking out to the lake?
No, it is not impeding anything from the windows looking out to the lake. Actually, right now, they're performing in front of those windows, so they'd be moving to the side of the building. There is a window there, but it is a frosted window, so really would not be impeding any view of anything. It would be opening it up more. And there are several other community groups that utilize this area that would benefit from a performance stage like this. And in my opinion, it also would make this building a little bit more marketable for private renters.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Freelieb, and then over to Counselor Johnson. Counselor Freelieb.
And the performers will continue to perform to the south, to the east, not to the south.
They would actually end up performing towards the south.
Oh, to the south? Okay. And that's fine with the people that have that venue?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is actually what they had suggested, because we would move all those benches from the lakeside over to the south, thereby providing those people that are sitting in the benches more shade. And during the summer months, shade is nice.
Good, thanks.
Okay, Counselor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a great idea, and I appreciate and want to give a shout out particularly to Marlise, but to the whole organization. What they've done and the amount of people that come from out of town to shop there and then shop other places is great. So I think this is a great idea.
Counselor Beyondich.
And I will echo that, as I've sat in those benches under that hot sun. So I think it would be well received to have them put into the shade and have the performers in the shade as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Beyondich. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, Motion carries. Thank you, Brian. Counselor Johnson.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize Brian and Parks and Rec staff to assist if they get this grant, to assist with it so they don't have to come back and waste time in the spring when they, pretty sure they'll get it. But I would like to make that a motion to direct staff to assist with the,
To assist with in-kind services as
Yes.
a result? Thank you. Motion by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, committee reports. Item 9.1, Committee of the Whole meeting was held February 7th, 2023. Our city administrator is away on family issues, so we'll just move forward with item 9.1A. At committee level, it was approved to adopt a resolution for supporting and requesting funding from the U.S. Highway 53 Rock Ridge School Transportation Improvement Plan. And this is what the state of Minnesota needs our resolution of support in order to apply for certain funding, separate funding for the transportation 53 improvement program.
I'll move for further discussion.
Moved by Councilor Freely for further discussion. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Motley. Further discussion. Councilor Freely.
So the plans that were presented, that's a proposed plan, or has that been decided that's the type of changes that will occur in that area? I don't recall them saying that. It's still a proposal.
At the committee of whole meeting, this is the plan moving forward that they're presenting for the funding sources. They don't have the funding for that yet, and they have to apply for the funding, and they're leading a letter of support from us to apply for the funding for that plan.
And does the support require any matching from the city to get that money?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Freely. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9.1A2, this is again another adopt the resolution for the approval of the Rock Ridge School Transportation Improvement Plan. And this is, they need two separate resolutions to apply for two separate grants. And so that's why we have resolution number 2. Moved by Councilor Freely, but is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Barnzelli this time. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.1B, direct staff to send the proposed water surface use ordinance for Silver Lake to the Planning and Zoning Commission for review and to present to the City Council for further discussion. Pam, did I miss something?
No, I can make a note on this. They did have a meeting last night, and it will be on the Committee of the Whole agenda next Tuesday for discussion by the council
Okay, so we'll hold this.
on their recommendation.
Okay, so we're holding this in advance, and they'll be discussing this at the next Committee of the Whole meeting, correct? Okay, thank you. Then we'll move to, thank you, Pam. Move to item 9.1C, adopt the resolution to approve the change order COR 37, PCO 178, COR 38, PCO 180, COR 39, PCO 181 for the Iron Trail Motors Event Center in the amount of $43,215.64, and for the edification and the information for the general public. Could somebody please come up and explain that?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Councilor Paulson.
Hey, just a point of order. In
Yeah.
the past, I know when we've done change order approvals, it is based on the COR number and then the change order number. These are all being lumped in as one specific change order when they are 3 individual change orders. So I would like that clarification. I have questions on 2 individuals, so I'm not comfortable lumping them all into approve as one change order when they're in fact 3 separate numbers of change orders.
Okay, very good. Then let's start with COR 37. Is that correct? And so who can come up and explain that? Eric Wedge from DSGW, thank you for coming to the Committee of the Whole meeting. Eric Wedge is from DSGW. Eric?
Yes, as per the Committee of the Whole meeting, we gave you guys a further explanation in your packet of the breakdown of what change order request number 37 is. In really short terms, without reading the packet and the letter that we said verbatim, this was due to some challenges we had with flooding the rink and staff time, and the request from the Minnesota Department of Health on putting backflow prevention on your rink flooding, which has extremely slowed your staff time down in being able to flood the rink in a more efficient fashion. When the facility was first opened, we didn't have backflow prevention. The staff was fairly happy with the level of flooding, and then when we had to put the backflow prevention on, it became a challenge. Brian Silber could speak more from a staff time on how long his staff takes to flood the rink. With that, the solution was a long process. The last time at the Committee of the Whole, you saw kind of how all the sausage was made and all the detailed notes and information, so we cleared that up with this. The basic breakdown is the biggest expense of this change order would be for the RPZ. It's the backflow prevention on a 3-inch water line. That costs $17,374.20. We also do, because we increased the water line to these connections, have to add about 80 feet of 1.25 inch pipe for a total of $6,009.89. And associated with this also is some gas metering for B3. And KA has a small charge of, well, the gas meter was $1,351.76, and then KA has some small charges of $65.13 for a total of $24,898.
Okay, thank you. So Counselor Paulson, would you want to take these individually? Is that what you're
I
requesting
would
us to
rather
do?
have these individual. Yes,
Okay,
please.
so COR 37, that includes PCO 178, correct? It's all one.
Correct.
Okay, so that is from,
Pat Gewirtz could talk about the nomenclature of PCO. PCO just is potential change order, and it has become a change order.
So this is change order 37, and that's what you just explained to us.
Correct.
That's the amount for that. So the total amount of this change order number 37 is how much total?
$24,898.
$24,898.
Cents.
Okay, thank you.
I would move to approve that.
Okay, Counselor Paulson moves to approve COR 37. Is there support?
Further discussion?
Support by Counselor Freely. Further discussion? Counselor Freely.
Just out of curiosity, so when a project like that's been completed and then inspected, and the inspector tells you that there's gonna have to be an additional $17,000 worth of work done to complete the work, is there an appeal process to that? If in fact then it proved that that pressure change was actually like not beneficial to what needed to be accomplished at the rink? That's my concern. Is, I mean, when they come in there, they can just say, nope, got to do this, and that's that. And then you find out that that wasn't necessarily beneficial to what we were trying to accomplish. There's no appeal to that.
There is a lengthy appeal process. My experience with the appeal process is the inspector is going to have the final say, and you're going to, there's always a gray area in the code, and we submitted plans to the state of Minnesota. We have written documentation that those plans were reviewed and approved, and that's why the state sends inspectors out. They can't see everything in a set of documents, and that's where they came up with. We had significant discussion with this code official on this issue, numerous discussions, and Brian Silber was part of just about every one of them. And we tried to argue our case, and we were not successful in that venue. This will satisfy the health department in protecting the backflow prevention of, what it's really trying to do, the RPZ is just trying to prevent dirty water from re-entering your system.
Thank you.
Okay, so COR 37, has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. And I guess the reason that I support this change order is mainly because that state inspection process happened, and it is almost like an unfunded mandate. So that's why I'm in support of this change order. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. So COR 37 has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Eric, COR 38.
COR 38 is relative to the challenges or issues that we've had with the fireplace and the building pressure, creating different air pressures that blow the flame out and cause the fireplace to not work. In the original construction documents, we believed that this unit was a self-contained unit. That's what the specifications said. We believed that there would not be a significant building pressure change that would cause this issue. And it was decided at that time that we didn't believe we needed this piece of equipment. In the operation of the fireplace and through significant testing with your third-party commissioning agent, we found that the best, we can keep tweaking the system, relighting the flame. Somebody opens all the doors at one time into the convention center, into the arena. You have larger amounts of air changing the pressure in that one little vestibule area, and it causes that flue to blow out. The best way to solve this issue is that you don't have to keep, staff doesn't have to keep relighting it, is to put this pressure-inducing fan that maintains a constant pressure inside the sealed unit. And the cost of that is $455.32. KA does have some umbrella and liability insurance in there, and their performance and payment bond for a total cost of $4,455.32.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Paulson? Any issues with that one?
Well, I guess I do have an issue with this. I think I brought it up at the committee of the whole level. And I went and pulled some pictures off of my phone from when my kids were in that building on November 20th, 21, taking pictures. I shared those with Eric. And my concern is this fireplace has not been working from the very beginning. And I don't know if it's a design flaw issue or if the fact that there was maybe some different expectations when you opened what it was that we were receiving. But I have an issue that the city is going to be expected to pay for this when, maybe the price would have increased, like our conversation was, maybe the price would have increased at the time. But whoever was in charge of this, making sure that this was sufficient, and now it's been this long of a period of time with a deficiency, that's concerning to me, and I don't think it's right that our employees have to go and are they actually having to go light a pilot light? Do they have to actually go light a light? So when you're saying light the light, is it a switch?
A remote control.
It's an ignition switch? Okay, is there a danger?
It's an igniter.
It's an igniter, and is there a danger with that if there's no gas or if it's having issues? I feel like this is just, there's an issue.
The fireplace, anytime the flame blows out, there's safety precautions built into the fireplace to automatically shut the gas off. I know that there has been complaints, you get a small amount of residual gas that from the time the sensor senses that the flame is out before it actually shuts off. There's a small delay, and that would be some of the gas smell that staff was experiencing.
Thank you for that, Eric. And then I guess I'm of the opinion, Mayor, that I don't believe that the city of Virginia should be absorbing this cost. I don't know between all three parties, CMTA, Kraus Anderson, I mean, I don't know who's responsible, but I just don't, at this point in time, I don't feel that the city is responsible to pay this change order. And I guess that's the opinion I have on this particular one. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Johnson?
I have to agree with Counselor Paulson on this one, especially Eric, you just said we believed it would work, which means that this council, the city, would have had no reason to question that. And then my further question is, what's the guarantee this is going to solve the problem? Like, is there going to be another change order in 6 months that, oh, that didn't work? I'm frustrated with this too, that it's a year and a half out and we didn't finish this. If it was a problem right away, why it's not being fixed. I think that this is one of those things that is the numbers, you're able to calculate everything else, but for some reason, this fireplace isn't fitting everything else, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I have to agree with Councilor Paulson on this one. I think this should be something that, between the entities that designed it, ordered it, put it in, tested it, they should be the ones that are responsible for repair of the fireplace.
Has this been done, has it been fixed already?
No, we're waiting for authorization to proceed with this change order to install the pressure-inducing fan, which was not in the original documents, which would be a value add to the project.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wertz from Carl Anderson.
You know, for ease of relationships to go through, KA would be willing to pay for this to get this done, so we can all move on and get the job closed out. So we will just take care of it and move on. So for ease of everybody to go through, so we'll take care of it. We can get it removed to go back and discuss 39.
Okay, so thank you for that, Mr. Wertz. Counselor Johnson?
I'd make a motion to accept KA's offer to take care of the fireplace, make it right.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support by Counselor Motley? Is there any further discussion on this change order? Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you very much, Pat, for coming forward and offering that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Moved and supported for Carl Anderson's proposal to pay the $4,455.32 for the repair of the fireplace. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next one. COR number 39. Eric.
CO number 39 relates to two items. In your packet, there was a breakdown of it. In original design, when we bid the documents, there's an office next to Brian Silber's Park and Rec office. We called it a security office. We actually showed in the original construction plans a desk, and that would be occupied during games for a police officer or security. Throughout the process, working with your third-party vendors, your IT department, and your camera and Turney Brothers, your audiovisual, that room developed into more of an IT closet with significant heat loads from all the different pieces of equipment. I think we have 58 cameras, Brian? Is it more than that?
More than that.
And that was not anticipated in the original design. So what the proposed solution to solve the overheating of that room is to add some additional, a separate third air conditioner that's just dedicated for that room to keep it cool. That cost is $9,253.03. Also, in the ice equipment room, we had a design build contract with your ice equipment supplier. That was part of reusing some pieces of equipment from the miners for the pumps and the refrigeration system. And staff would like the ductwork modified to provide better cooling in that room and better evacuation in the case of a leak, getting the ductwork into different locations in that room. And that change of the ductwork that was originally installed to where staff would like it is $4,678.39. KA has a total of $27.92 on this change order, which brings the change order to a total of $13,959.34.
I will move the change order for the ice room and the IT room.
Counselor Johnson moves change order number 39. Is there support? Support by Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. So Eric, when you're talking about staff wants the ventilation, what do you mean by that? Like, is it inadequate right now, or is it a slip and fall hazard because there's condensation on the floor? Or I'm trying to understand, or
Yeah.
Brian Silver, or is your staff requesting this?
Yes, our staff is requesting it from a life safety standpoint. The ice plant room, remember, our ice plant is an ammonia room. Most of this ventilation that's being proposed to be changed would come into play if there is a ammonia leak, and it would be ventilating that room. Currently, the corners and edges of the room would not be ventilated as quickly. So this is something that if there was ever a leak, it would help to clear that room. If somebody was in the room, they may not succumb to ammonia as quickly. So this is something that we vetted out with our fire department and our staff as worst case scenario. And so this is just one of those life safety type things that you hope and pray never needs to be used.
Sure, and thank you so much for kind of walking me through what that was. And I guess then my question would be, was there not proper kind of anticipatory needs in that space for ventilation? Or did we do something different in that space to, I guess, warrant this type of change?
I'll answer the question. One is that your design build contractor that put the ice plant in kind of had a vision of how all that equipment would go in. When we designed the documents, we had a rough magnitude of idea, but they've adjusted things to fit better for the ice plant system in real time as they were installing it. As Brian said, we're just bringing this ductwork further out to the corners to help with that. And it does provide a little bit of cooling, additional cooling out to the corners, a little bit more than where the evacuation system is currently placed in that room.
Thank you so much for allowing me to
Brian, if you
understand
needed
that.
to add
No,
to that.
that summed it up great.
So, any further discussion on COR number 39? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. So the total cost of the approval of these three CORs is $43,215.64 minus the $4,455.32 that's going to be covered by our construction manager at risk, Carl Sanderson. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Okay, item 9.1D, adopt a resolution to transfer $1,501,683 from our investment accounts with the 4M fund to the city's general fund.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Johnson and supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.1E, receive and file the request to waive assessments on tax forfeit parcel 090-0010-00610 and 090-0030-08680 from St. Louis County.
So move to receive and file.
Moved by Counselor Friedlieb to receive and file. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.1F, adopt a resolution to approve the conveyance of tax forfeit parcel number 090-0095-00060 in the Public Safety Center area in the amount of $500. Move to approve by Counselor Johnson and supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. 9.1G, approve the city engineer to review the intersection of Second Avenue and 8th Street South and the traffic signal in conjunction with the public safety building regarding a turn lane in that area.
So moved.
Moved to approve by Counselor Paulson and supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9.1H, approve a memorandum of understanding between the Virginia Police Department and Range Mental Health Center for calendar year 2023.
So moved.
Moved to approve by Counselor Johnson, supported by Counselor Friedlieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.1I, adopt a resolution for the Climb Theater to conduct charitable gambling at the Virginia Bowling Gardens, which is located at 301 2nd Street South, Virginia, Minnesota.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson and approved by Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. 9.1J, adopt a resolution for the Virginia Fire Department to seek donations for the annual campaign for the purpose of fire prevention materials. Move to approve by Counselor Beyondich. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.1K was to set a meeting for Tuesday, February 14th, 2023 at 3 PM with Iron Trail Motors to discussing of the naming rights contract, which we've already done. We don't need to move and support that, don't we? Okay, we already set the meeting. And also, 9.1L, set a meeting for Tuesday, February 14th, 2023 at 2 PM to discuss strategy regarding the naming rights contract prior to the meeting with Iron Trail Motors, which we've already done tonight. Then finally, item 9.1M, adopt a resolution to approve the proposed International Association Firefighters contract. That's with our fire EMS personnel here in the city of Virginia.
So moved. Support.
Moved by Counselor Friedlieb and supported by Counselor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Okay. Item 10, Commission Liaison Reports. Does any city councilor have a commission liaison report they'd like to give? Counselor Motley.
So I went to the Rockridge School Board meeting yesterday evening. Just a couple of things that was interesting to me. They went over the Minnesota Student Survey results. So a lot of questions. So that was interesting to see some of those results that they presented. The superintendent went over a rough draft for equity plan. They're in need of more buses. And also, one of their things they shot down was the ability for the public to just be able to come and speak like we do here. So they continue on with their policy to prior approve.
Okay, and a lot of things on the consent agenda. Okay, thank you, Counselor Motley. Any other reports? Okay, we'll move to item number 11, which are department head reports. We'll go, our city administrator's not here. Any reports from our city attorney's office? Anything from you, Noel?
Nothing for me, no.
Thank you. Anything, any announcements to make, Pam?
No, not tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to council reports. Does any city councilor have a report they'd like to give this evening? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 13, which is adjournment. No items to come before the committee today. Did you want to speak? Did you have something you want to say? Okay. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Yeah, and thanks for coming, and thanks for our staff for hanging around and delaying their celebration tonight. And thank you for all councilors for the long day of meetings today, starting at 2 o'clock up until tonight. So some really good hard work accomplished today, so we thank you for that. So we will certainly now adjourn our city council meeting for our next council meeting, which is scheduled for Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, 5:30 PM, right here in the council chambers. Thank you, everybody. We stand adjourned. Good night.